Do you want to know what we hear a lot at Live Like Weight Loss? It's one of the most common things you will hear from people on a GLP medication. They're like, it was working really well. And then now it just feels like everything's slower. And that's usually the point where people start to worry that something is wrong. So let's talk about that, because in most cases, what's happening is not what people think. So, hi, my name is Evelyn, and I'm here at Live Like Weight Loss, or at Evelyn's desk for Live Like Weight Loss. Okay, so let's get into this. First, let's understand one thing. GLP medications are fairly new to the weight loss space. But you know what isn't new about it? Weight loss itself. Weight loss is not linear. You don't go like this, you go like this. You trend down. Okay, that's one. You know what we call that? We don't call it failure. We call it body adaptation. Okay, so having body adaptation in mind, let's talk about what people actually mean when they say this is not working anymore. Most people say this is not working anymore, and they are referring to the scale not moving. But as with anything nutrition and weight loss related, there's nuance. Okay, let's define that. In the nutrition space, you will hear a lot of different things, right? You're gonna hear about eat this, cut that, do this, do the other. You have to remember that nutrition is very nuanced. The scale not moving does not mean that there is no progress. There's different things going on in the body. The body is always adapting, doing different things to keep you alive and well, right? So there's going to be the consistency, there's going to be energy, there's going to be eating habits, there's going to be lifestyle. You have to take into consideration social events and how you manage those, really. In addition to the fact that you are taking a medication that helps to slow down your digestive system. So therefore, things are a little bit different than what you would think they are on a normal basis with no medication. So there's a lot of factors that go into it, is what I'm saying. Okay. Now, we talked about nuance. We talked about what progress actually looks like. We talked about defining scale not moving versus the body making actual progress, being defined by the consistency of eating, energy, social events, and so on, right? Great. Now, let's take it back to the actual medication. I've said it once, I've said it twice, and I will probably continue to say it a million times. It's just the nature of the things. GLP-1 medications help to slow down the digestive system, reducing appetite, but they do not help you to create a structure around eating. You do that by creating habits around the way that you eat. Okay, what this leads to is that people eat according to their hunger cues while on a GLP medication that makes the hunger cues reduced or less, and therefore they are eating less. But then once the medication is taken away and or the effectiveness decreases, what then? That's where people struggle. That's where having a structure in place is going to help you. And the reason is because the alternative is that as soon as that medication stops working the way that you need it to work, and or you have to stop because you've reached the maximum dosage, you're going to gain the weight back. Is that what you want? I don't want that for you. And here's an extra tidbit. Did you know that even in the trials, when people were using these medications and being watched and things were being recorded, people were given a framework on how to eat? This is not a medication to be used without a structured eating plan. See, the good thing now that is happening, a positive thing, is that more people are focusing on protecting muscle mass, which is great because muscle mass is so important for your metabolic health. If the lack of structure in eating makes it so that you are losing weight in such a way that your muscle mass is decreasing, we're going to have problems with that in the future, and we don't want that. And so when you are eating to maintain muscle mass but lose weight, you are ensuring better health, better energy, better outcomes altogether. Okay. But you get there by having some sort of structure. And mind you, it doesn't have to be super complicated. You want to keep it simple. If you have questions about that or want to learn more about it, I have other videos. I'll try to link them here, but go check those out on how to eat on a GLP. As these medications continue to be used and studied and observed, and outcomes being observed, people are seeing that depending on how much structure you have around the use of medication and eating, that's also going to determine the outcome. And so there's a variety of outcomes out there for people because they have either no structure, they have a little bit, they have like medium, if you will, or a large amount of structure. Now, obviously, you have to do what works for you in your lifestyle right now in order for things to work. And that's going to look different than the neighbor next door. That's just the reality of life, because life is life. All this to say that for you, you may be looking at the scale and saying, well, this is not working. And I will be looking at you and asking you, okay, let's talk about that. What do you feel is specifically not working on about this? Like, what about the situation is not working? And then we get to talk about it. We get to dissect the issue. We get to figure out the specific things within your structure around the GLP that isn't working. See, because this way we can figure out whether A, it's a matter of, do we need to make a change to your routines or habits? Or B, are you where you need to be? C, is the medication working? Is there another approach that could be taken? What do we need to do as far as that goes? Because remember, the body does adapt. We talked a lot about structure, what that might look like, various degrees of it. At the end of the day, remember, like I just said, keep it simple for yourself. Do what works best for you in your lifestyle right now, not the future you, not past you, but you right now. It doesn't have to be complicated. You just have to be consistent. See, in this point in time, in this part of the process specifically, is where people start to feel stuck. You don't have to. There's tools. One of them is the GLP Success and Maintenance Guide. You can go ahead and click on the link and download it and start with that. Listen, just because things are not moving on the scale, it doesn't mean that things are not working. It just means that it's time to take a step back, reevaluate, and figure out what needs to be changed in order for things to continue to work on the scale, energy, consistency, and just overall how you are doing your wellness journey. Here at Live Light, we've been helping people for over 10 years to lose weight effectively, safely, while not feeling hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. Here, if you want us to help you, again, go ahead and click on the link to book a visit. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for more. If you have questions, please let us know.